He imprisoned his father, executed his brothers, expanded the Mughal Empire to its greatest extent, and ruled for 49 years. Yet his name still divides history. This is the complete life of Aurangzeb, warrior, king, zealot, and the last great Mughal. Drop a like if you're hooked already. Subscribe and turn on notifications to follow the full story. And share it with your friends. The more who hear this tale, the better. Here we go. Aurangzeb was born Muhyiddin Mohammed on November 3, 1618, in Dohad, Gujarat, the third son of Prince Khurram, later Shah Jahan, and Mumtaz Mahal. He grew up in the glittering but treacherous world of the Mughal court during the reigns of Jahangir and Shah Jahan. From childhood, Aurangzeb stood apart from his brothers. While Dara Shikoh immersed himself in Sufi mysticism and liberal philosophy, and Shuja and Murad chased pleasure and military fame, Aurangzeb was serious, disciplined, and deeply pious. He memorized the Quran, mastered Arabic and Persian, trained rigorously in warfare, and cultivated a reputation for austerity and justice. His early career was shaped by postings in the Deccan and Gujarat, where he learned administration, diplomacy, and the art of war. By his 20s, he had led campaigns against local chieftains and Portuguese settlements, earning respect for his competence and severity. But his relationship with his father was strained. In 1644, as governor of Gujarat, Aurangzeb clashed with Shah Jahan's orders during a campaign, leading to his demotion and 3 years of semi-exile. He spent this time quietly rebuilding his position through patience, prayer, and alliances with religious scholars and loyal officers. Restored to favor in 1647, Aurangzeb was sent to Balkh and Badakhshan in Central Asia. The campaign failed due to harsh winters and supply problems, but he emerged with his reputation intact. By 1652, he was viceroy of the Deccan, where he expanded Mughal control, subdued rebellious sultans, and built a formidable power base. He watched his brothers closely. Dara Shikoh was the favored heir, Shuja ruled Bengal independently, and Murad governed Gujarat recklessly. The turning point came in 1657 when Shah Jahan fell gravely ill. Rumors of the emperor's death spread. Dara seized control in Agra, declared himself regent, and began arresting rivals. Shuja proclaimed himself emperor in Bengal. Murad followed in Gujarat. Aurangzeb in the Deccan waited. He corresponded secretly with Murad, promising alliance. In January 1658, he marched north, claiming he sought only to protect his father from Dara's tyranny. The War of Succession was short, brutal, and decisive. At the Battle of Dharmet in April 1658, Aurangzeb and Murad crushed Dara's army. 2 months later, at Samugarh near Agra, Aurangzeb decisively defeated Dara Shikoh. Shah Jahan, recovered but powerless, watched from Agra fort as his eldest son fled. Aurangzeb entered Agra, secured the treasury, and imprisoned his father in the fort for the rest of his life. Murad, believing himself co-ruler, was betrayed. Aurangzeb invited him to a feast, arrested him, and later had him executed on charges of murder. Shuja fled to Arakan after defeat and disappeared. Dara Shikoh was hunted down, captured, paraded in disgrace through Delhi, and beheaded in 1659 on Aurangzeb's orders. By 1660, Aurangzeb sat unchallenged on the peacock throne, taking the title Alamgir, conqueror of the world. At 41, Aurangzeb had won the empire through cunning, discipline, and ruthlessness. His reign would last 49 years, the longest of any Mughal emperor, and would transform the empire in ways both monumental and controversial. Aurangzeb's early rule was marked by consolidation and expansion. He crushed rebellions in the Deccan, subdued the Yusufzai tribes in the northwest, and reasserted Mughal authority over Rajput states. He abolished many courtly extravagances his predecessors had loved: music, painting, lavish festivals, and enforced strict Sunni orthodoxy. He reimposed the jizya tax on non-Muslims in 1679, though with exemptions for the poor, banned intoxicants, and patronized Islamic scholarship and law. Yet he was not blindly anti-Hindu. He employed more Hindu nobles in high office than his predecessors, granted land to temples in some cases, and punished officials who abused Hindu subjects. The greatest challenges came in the Deccan. The Maratha leader Shivaji Bhonsle had risen to power, raiding Mughal territories and establishing an independent kingdom. Aurangzeb spent the last 25 years of his reign, from 1682 onward, campaigning almost continuously in the Deccan. He personally led armies against Shivaji, who died in 1680, and later against his son Sambhaji, whom he executed in 1689. The Marathas, under Rajaram and later Tarabai, waged relentless guerrilla warfare. Aurangzeb captured forts, executed leaders, and annexed Bijapur, 1686, and Golconda, 1687, but he never fully subdued the Marathas. The long war drained the treasury, exhausted the army, and weakened central authority. Aurangzeb's religious policies fueled resistance. His reimposition of jizya and destruction of some temples, though far fewer than later myths claim, alienated many Hindus, especially Rajputs. The Rathore and Sisodia clans rebelled. In the Punjab, the Sikh Guru Tegh Bahadur was executed in 1675 for refusing to convert, and his son Guru Gobind Singh formed the Khalsa in 1699, turning the Sikhs into a martial community. In the northeast, the Ahams of Assam resisted Mughal expansion. By the early 1700s, Aurangzeb was an old man in his late 80s, still in camp in the Deccan, still fighting. His army was mutinous, his treasury empty, his sons divided. In February 1707, weakened by illness, he died in Ahmednagar at the age of 88. His last words reportedly were, "I have committed numerous crimes, and I do not know what torments await me." He was buried simply in a small tomb near Daulatabad, refusing lavish funeral rites. Aurangzeb's death triggered the rapid decline of the Mughal Empire. His eldest surviving son, Bahadur Shah I, briefly held the throne but died in 1712. The empire fractured into warring factions. Governors became de facto independent rulers: Bengal, Awadh, Hyderabad. The Marathas rose again under Peshwa Baji Rao, raiding deep into Mughal territory. In 1739, Nader Shah of Persia sacked Delhi, massacred thousands, and carried away the peacock throne and Koh-i-Noor diamond. By the 1750s, the Mughal emperor was a figurehead, his empire reduced to the city of Delhi and its surroundings. Aurangzeb's legacy is deeply controversial. To some, he was a Lamgir, the pious warrior who expanded the empire to its greatest territorial extent, enforced Islamic law, and lived ascetically. To others, he was a bigot whose policies alienated Hindus, Sikhs, and Rajputs, overextended the empire, and sowed the seeds of its collapse. The truth lies in between. He was a man of iron will, extraordinary discipline, and genuine religious conviction, but his long wars drained the empire financially and politically. His insistence on centralized control and orthodoxy clashed with the diverse, decentralized reality of India. The Mughal Empire never recovered from Aurangzeb's reign, yet his era marked the last time the empire was truly a great power. After him came decline, fragmentation, and eventually British dominance. Aurangzeb ruled longer than any other Mughal, died in camp like a soldier, and left a complex legacy that historians still debate.